Welcome to Living 4D with Paul Chek. Today's guests are the essential oil wizard, Dr. Nick Berry, and his partner, Ellen Bird.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Living 4D with Paul Chek. It's a special day. Not only do I have my buddy, Dr. Nick, the essential oil wizard, in the house, he's got his beautiful partner, Ellen. And if you're not watching the video, she's beautiful. Welcome.
It's so great to be here, Paul. Thanks for having us both.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, such a pleasure to be here with you in person.
Yeah, thank you. And it was nice to walk the property together and paint. What do you think of the rainbow?
Wow, the Rainbow House, this property, so much potential, and everything that's here right now is so heart expanding.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
It's just the dream, like just what we're dreaming up and beyond. It's showing us the potential for life and living and what it can be.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
This is how we do COVID.
Yeah. Smart man.
You'd never even know what was going on around here.
Yeah. True.
And the neighbors here are all so hip.
Oh, it's so important.
They're like, just like us. It's like, people want to believe everything they see on television. That's up to them. So, my COVID protection plan is the same as my protection plan against any illness or virus or bug or anything. And that's just 4 doctors and eat, move, and be healthy. And as I say, the fastest way to health is just don't bullshit yourself.
Take care of yourself with every move.
When you're tired, go
Rest.
to sleep. When you're hungry, eat real food. When you're thirsty, drink water.
When you need to paint, paint.
When you need to move.
Mm-hmm.
And do something you love to do, or you'll burn yourself out and blame it on everybody else.
Mm-hmm. No more of that. No more room for that in this world.
No, it's not working.
It's not.
It's not working.
Yeah.
So what have you guys been up to lately?
It's been a juicy year for us, Paul.
Yeah, you got the fire right at your back door, didn't you?
Yeah.
We did.
COVID came close to home in terms of just the awakening and the remembrance of how important your community is.
Yeah.
And praying together. And really last summer invited our community to get closer together to support one another. And we did a lot of praying around fire during the spring and the summer months. And we feel one of the best ways to keep our immune system high is to support one another and to really bring forth this collective vision that we're all choosing to co-create.
Yes, and that's the deep truth, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. We need to gather.
Yeah.
I've never been stronger being around tons of people in this space, keeping the vibes high, dancing, celebrating life.
Yes, that's what people don't realize. The reality of the unconscious is it manifests whatever your dominant thoughts are. So, I tell people God is unconditional love. So every thought is a prayer, and the answer is always yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else is to create a condition.
Yes.
Meaning to say no is a limiting factor. But unconditional love is a perpetual gift, which means whatever you use your mind to create with, that's what you get.
Yep.
So if your head's full of stinking thinking, then pretty soon your whole life's surrounded with symbols of that.
Yeah.
Often breathing symbols.
Yeah. I want to share that the fires came really close to our home. There were the Almeda fire in Ashland, Oregon, came right to literally to our back fence. It scorched the back fence.
Yeah, that's too close for comfort.
And the moment we heard about it, we just sat down and we visualized, really truly prayed. We visualized a bubble of white light surrounding the home, surrounding exactly the area that didn't catch fire.
Right on.
And so to me, there's something to that.
What's called manifestation. Metaphysically, there's an ancient saying, and it's simple and very true. You bring forth that which you gaze upon. Because God is pure potential, whatever you look at, you water. So as I say to my students, don't water weeds if you don't want to grow them. Keep your mind full of flowers and sun and beautiful scenery, because you can make that with the same amount of energy you can make yourself miserable.
Yeah, it's showing itself in the collective for sure. Yeah, it's big time, big trial time to be alive right now.
Yeah, it is, but I think it's important because if we don't have something that moves us to not only a deeper level of ourself, but to a higher level of our creative self-expression, then people just flatline. They just get stuck on television, video games, coffee, tea, medical drugs, recreational drugs, and life just becomes a humdrum. And then they have to start medicating themselves to try to get to an alternate reality because they, don't know how else to do it, most people. And so, imagine being an athlete. If you didn't have to deal with challenges, you'd never become a good athlete.
Yeah.
I was a motocross racer, boxer, kickboxer, and every minute of that is you're meeting challenge after challenge after challenge. So if you don't have something in the environment to teach you to create outside of your own limitations, then you don't grow. You just don't grow. And that's really the unconscious is comfortable for people because it's autonomic, right? You don't have to think about tying your shoe because you did it enough times that your unconscious remembered it. So now you can tie your shoe and talk to somebody and not even think about tying your shoe. You don't have to think about breathing or how you're digesting or eliminating or making poop or any of the miraculous things that are going on because it's unconsciously handled, right? It's autonomically regulated. So people actually fall passively into an unconscious existence where they just sort of run on autopilot, and it's just like a record that's caught in a groove.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah. So when the environment changes, which it always does, if you're caught in the groove, then it means that you're not going to be able to adapt to the changes in the environment. And for a lot of people that haven't practiced being creative and explored their challenges instead of selling them to people or just bowing out of them or ignoring them, then all of a sudden they're faced with the need for authentic creativity. And the child in them is too inhibited. It's too drunk on passivity. So, consciousness is something that you've got to engage. And if you don't engage it, then the pain teacher comes to awaken you to the fact that you're stagnating.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. A lot of the main teachers in life, gurus and elders, share about the place of the unknown and the importance of the unknown and kind of freeing ourselves from the known.
Yes.
And I feel like the opportunity has been gifted to us this past year in that sense of we don't know. We don't know what comes next. We don't know how this story turns out, and people not knowing if they're going back to work or school and all of this. There's so much potential there.
Yes. Whenever a system's in chaos, it's the easiest to change. But people get so afraid of the chaos, they run from it or bury their head in the sand. But when chaos emerges, that's the really best time to go into meditation, because there's too many factors in chaos for the conscious mind to juggle, because the conscious mind's a linear process. It can only handle one thought at a time. And they've actually proven that. I actually saw a documentary where they took people that were quite sure they were good multitaskers. So they said, okay, well, would you be willing to prove it? And so they got a bunch of people that were sure they could prove how good they were multitaskers. So what they did is they set up a driving course, and then they said, okay, now we want you to talk on your cell phone while you're trying to drive the course. And they all performed terribly compared to when they weren't on the phone. So as soon as they started multitasking, they couldn't do either of them well, but they had deluded themselves into thinking that they could. So the point I'm making is chaos is not something you can follow. Like if your dog runs out the door, you can keep your eye on it and follow it, but you can't balance your checkbook while you're following your dog because consciousness operates in series. So the only way to deal with chaos effectively and gain the message it's trying to bring to you is to go into no mind. And then it's like sitting next to a pond on a windy day and just watching all the waves rise. And the next thing you know, you start to see patterns, or you start to feel intuitive guidance, or you start to see opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
The paradox is during every crisis, somebody's getting rich while others are losing it all, right?
Yeah.
And the way you get rich may not be financially rich, but you could get rich because you find your lover, or you can get rich because you come up with a great business idea and it's exciting to you, or you get rich because you have services that people need in a crisis. But at the same time, there's people losing everything and thinking it's the end. But I've lost everything before, so I know what it's like. And it put me right into meditation. And I asked Great Spirit for help. It took me 1.5 years. I wrote everything down I needed in my partner. And 1.5 years later, sitting on the beach in Australia, I had a vision of a woman. I went, oh my God, is that who I'm going to be with for the rest of my life? And the answer was very strong, yes. Penny walked into my classroom a week later, and 4 days later we were engaged, and we've been married for 24 years. Point being is I was in a state of chaos. I went bankrupt. I lost everything I owned, had everything I owned, except a stack of books in the back of my car, and had to travel over to Australia and New Zealand because there was a big interest in my work there. And so here I met the woman of my dreams in Australia. And
because
she
you
lived
lost
in New
everything.
Zealand. And I had to lose everything and go through a divorce to get to her. So the point is, the chaos of it all sailed me right to where I was meant to be. But if I would have clung down and, grabbed onto the nearest tree and just froze myself and said, I got to give up on this institute, it's not going to work, and took a job somewhere or something like that, then the chaos would have kicked my ass and I would have been just like everybody else.
We wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation together in this moment.
No, the whole institute might have disappeared. So I think the beauty of intense situations or radical change is that it really lets you see how honest you are in your spiritual practice.
Yeah.
People that say they're doing this or doing that, the litmus test is always when transition or chaos or big change comes. And people that are grounded in their spiritual practice usually know how to surf the waves. And those that talk spirituality are usually
crumbled.
Yeah. They're pollen in the wind.
Yeah. I feel this, these past 2 years have really been an opportunity for us to reflect on aspects of our lives that are working and not working, and to really hone practices that are supportive of our growth, and present different external reflections that can be distracting. And in those distractions, if we tune in inside of ourselves and we really listen to the call of our heart and the essence of our soul and the wisdom that it has to share, we can deepen our focus and our alignment. And you were talking about subconscious behaviors earlier.
Yes.
And, something in that example is Ellen and I have been really honing in on regular breath practices and meditative practices. And so breath is something that is subconscious autonomic response in and of itself. And yet, by conscientiously investing our time, energy, and our breath in the mornings, we're able to deepen the calm and stillness and which results in a clearer and more expansive potential to paint with.
It's true. The other thing is that a lot of people don't really understand about breath work, even a lot of people that do it, is that when you're working with your breath, you're learning to consciously regulate your autonomic response. If your breathing rate goes higher than normal respiratory rate, then you go more and more sympathetic. If you slow it down, you go parasympathetic. So with conscious awareness of how breathing affects the autonomic system, you can slow your breathing down, enhance digestion and recovery, or you can speed it up and excite your mind and clear your head and vitalize and get ready for action. So if a person's too spent and they're doing too much high-speed breathing, it won't help them physiologically because it'll just excite the system even more if they bring it down. So the point I'm making is one of the reasons that breathwork's involved in every legitimate spiritual system is because it's the one thing that if you learn to control can affect every part of your body, mind, and emotions. And it's only one thing. So it's kind of like, the breath is the soul's anchor in the body. So it's where your own self-consciousness marries itself with your physiology. But if you might be able to feel it, like if you breathe in through your lips in this case, like you're drawing from a straw. And then when you breathe out, now I'm going to give you an exercise. Instead of thinking that you're just breathing, I want you to imagine that the air is liquid. And as you're breathing out, see the prana in the exhalation, the chi, but then hold on to it and pull it back in. And your goal is to catch the thread, the connection to the chi field.
Yeah, it feels like such an easy way to get to 0 point.
Can you feel yourself connecting to the chi field? So you're drinking it in. Once you learn to feel the chi or the prana, you can learn to work with it. And then you can track it and see how, as you bring it into your body, you can see the light moving through your body, the excitation. Then you can, as you probably know, say, okay, I want to put that in my left shoulder. You can move the chi right into that part of your body. But if you get to where you feel the thread, see, when I teach people Tai Chi, I want to show them how to find the chi field. And once they get relaxed enough, then they actually can feel that they're stirring the chi in the environment, just like a liquid. And you can start to feel it. And you realize that even what looks like empty space is just jacked with life, So that technique I was just sharing with you there, you try to lock on to the vitality in it. So it's like a great analogy is if you take a spaghetti noodle and you let it out, and then you pull it in with consciousness, like I'm watching what I'm doing, mindfulness, and then I let it out. And then after a while, the spaghetti noodle becomes real, but it's life force, and you learn to sense it.
I feel a little buzzing of energy when I'm breathing it out. And then taking it into my body, it feels like a sustainable intrinsic energy source that I'm I'm breathing out externally and I'm bringing it back in,
Yeah.
it's like there's less loss.
Yes. Yeah. It's almost like you get into circular breathing. When I do it, I try to get so that the hardest part is when you finish the exhale, because if you lag, the normal pause makes it harder to
Bring it back in.
to keep that thread, that golden, or it's more of a silver thread actually in my third eye. But so it's almost like you got to. So you keep that going, and then you pick that thread up. Then you can start moving it around.
And it's so centering too.
Yeah, it is.
Just for a few moments doing that. I mean, just every morning setting ourselves up for success in that way by keeping the chi inside, getting it circulating, being aware, just harmonizing with the present moment is just so essential.
Did you know that Symbiotica means harmony? And you're really likely to enjoy my podcast with Shervin Jafferia, the founder of Symbiotica. Symbiotica is an amazing company that makes excellent products to aid healing, enhance longevity, and improve performance at all levels of your being, from your spiritual practices to your athletic endeavors. I highly recommend you go to Symbiotica.com and check out their top-notch organically sourced products that include excellent tasting supplements like their Synergy Vitamin B12, which elevates energy naturally, to their Shilajit minerals, which help you better regulate your hormonal system. Their Biocharge activated coconut charcoal is an excellent detox support and removes toxins and poisons from the body quickly and non-invasively. Their organic longevity formula is one of my friends and students' favorites. They rave about it. I really enjoy their Regenesis liposomal glutathione for its amazing antioxidant powers, which is really helpful for anyone that enjoys vaporizing tobacco and herbs like I do. They also have great immune support products, water filtration options for drinking and showering, and some cool clothing and more. When you go to Symbiotika.com and use your Living4D discount code, which is capital C, capital H, capital E, capital K, 15 on checkout, you get 15% off anything they sell, and you won't be disappointed. Enjoy Symbiotica. We were talking about, Nick, you mentioned, the importance of getting still and listening to your heart. And the problem a lot of people have is that they don't actually do what they want to do, what they love to do for a living, or they stay in marriages long after they've reached the point where they know they don't even want to go to marriage counseling anyhow. In other words, they don't want to get out of it, but they don't want to be in it either.
Yeah.
Or they think God's going to punish them for getting out of it, so they stay in and kind of sleep with their backs to each other. But if you're not living true to your heart, you actually begin to not allow yourself to feel your heart so you can sustain your own story. So one of the things that's so important, I tell people, those that play together stay together. So think of the joy that we just had painting together, right?
Yes.
And singing and dancing. Like we regularly singing and dancing with the kids, and toning and playing musical instruments, and the kids just dig it, right? And I do what I love to do for a living, and I encourage everybody else to do, and I know you guys do too. But the point is because we give ourselves time to play, and look, people had a lot of time to play with this COVID crisis, but instead, what did most of them do? Sat there and watched TV, scared the hell out of themselves, ate junk food, got angry at each other, and drove themselves deeper into a crisis, right? But I say, shit, get out a colors and some paper, or
do a
paints and
dance,
some pen, and put on your favorite music, and know that the more scary it is out there, the more important it is to find your heart and get your heart compass working, because your head compass doesn't work well. Fear never makes a good seeing eye dog, but love really does.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity to create more of what you want when the external reflection is not that of our choosing.
Yeah.
How can we take these external cues and create and cultivate internally and in our small circle around us? How can we generate more love, health, and vitality?
Yes. Especially certainly COVID made me concerned. I didn't know if it was going to crash the Chek Institute. I didn't know if I would
Us
have
too.
a consistent income. But, it's like when you're in a deep shamanic journey, what you got to trust. You got to trust and you got to go with it.
Ride the
And
ride.
You ride it.
Yeah.
And you just whenever I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do, I just say to my soul I call Kidra, which means guiding soul in Persian. I just say, Kidra, what do I do? I don't know what to do. And I just get still. I take a lot of saunas when things get thick, because whenever you're in a transitional zone, it's much easier to have transcendent experiences. So if you're in high heat, you're in a transition because your body's trying to cool itself. If the sun's just coming up or just going down, you're in a transitional zone. Dark to light, morning, light to dark night. That's why most Tai Chi masters and Qigong masters tell you the best time to practice is in the first and last hour of sunlight, because the energy in the morning is coming out of the earth and at night it's going into the earth. So if you go into a sauna, then the energy comes out of you. But if you jump in a cold bath, it goes into you, right? So the cold bath is like the evening energy, or energy is coming in, and the hot sauna is like the rising sun. And those transitional zones make it much easier to get into deep meditation and still your mind and have a talk with the God that lives inside of you, sometimes referred to as soul.
Yeah.
And that's how I've navigated a lot of challenging situations in my life.
And if we see this time as a great transition for the collective, for all of humanity, for all of life, I mean, personally, I think both of us, our experience in our daily meditation has been more profound than ever before.
Yeah.
Deeper and quicker and more expansive, and just, I mean, the codes come in, the messages come in clearer. And
yes.
I mean, it's just felt like such an optimal time to be tuning in and to be grounding ourselves and to be connecting ourselves to our souls.
It's also important for those of us that have those skills and awarenesses, because the state that we bring ourselves into has an effect on the collective, right? If you walk into a room full of scared people and you get scared with them, now there's just more fear in the room. But if you walk in the room in your center and you say, hey, don't worry about this. Let's look at this rationally. Let's hold still. Let's hold hands, and let's trust, because we can do something together if we do that. But if we all just run around and bang into each other and say, "Oh my God, I'm going to die," then you're probably going to die.
Yeah. One of the, I look at when COVID became more of a global phenomenon and awareness last year, and we weren't sure exactly what COVID was and what it meant for the health of our community,
Right.
or the health of ourselves.
Right.
What we did was we chose to take it as an opportunity of really gathering resources on how can we help those around us, how can we help ourselves, how can we take better care of our physical body, because the healthier and stronger we are, the cleaner we are, the more vital our immune system is.
Yeah.
And we trust and have full faith in the strength of our immune systems. And so I was taking these external cues as an opportunity to incorporate activated charcoal into my diet semi-regularly. And I also was working with C60 regularly, really pulling out toxins from my physical body.
Can you tell us what C60 is?
So C60 is also known as Buckminster fullerene, and it's shaped as a soccer ball. And C60 is a naturally occurring compound that's actually found in minute amounts naturally in activated charcoal. And C60 has been shown in studies to reduce inflammation, help to remove toxicity from the physical body. It also seems to act as a driver, so you can add it to different types of nutrients, such as ormus or hemp oil, and what it can do is it can help to drive that nutrition intracellularly.
Right.
And so it acts as both a powerful delivery agent, but also as something to remove toxins, to bind to toxins inside of the body. I believe one carbon C60 molecule binds to something like 12 or 18 free radicals inside of the system. And so
it's like a sponge.
It's totally powerful, just like activated charcoal. And so, with 5G that was being rolled out during the time, how can I remove heavy metals and different types of toxins that might react unfavorably?
Right.
Drinking, pure water, structuring the water, putting intentions and prayers into the water.
Yeah.
Really being mindful of what I'm putting in and how I can support those around me, I think has been one of the biggest gifts of taking inventory what's in my life, who's around me, how I can be of support, and really being grateful for the opportunities that life are handing to us, Paul.
Yeah. It's a beautiful and interesting time. I mean, granted, it is very scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, I think, though, that, look, we go to scary movies to get excited. We go on mountaineering trips and river rafting trips. And, the difference is if we choose the scary, we seem to do better with it. But when we collectively choose it, or the environment chooses it, then all of a sudden we forget how to handle the scary.
Yeah.
You know? So I think the thing is always pay a close attention to, what you can work with, and trust spirit to handle what you can't work with, because there's nothing you can do except thank God for the support that you need. Like I can't tell government legislators, other than just signing a petition or writing an article or talking about it on a podcast, that I don't want someone having the right to inject my body. This is my own body. I reserve the right to my own body.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So that's something that's out of my control, other than just sharing my opinion about it in public. So I just have to turn that over to Great Spirit and say, I need your help.
Yeah, and I've been really feeling lately that is a missing link for a lot of people, is that connection to a creator or a God or a spirit, whatever you want to call it. Just that for me has been essential, is that faith, tapping into, okay. And when I feel like, oh, I don't know what comes next, it's just I tap into faith. And then the rest of the path is somehow miraculously displayed in front of me. And it's, my resilience and my strength that allows me to take the next step. But it is that connection that has been so essential during these times.
Yes.
And I really feel for those who haven't began cultivating a connection with something greater, more intelligent than us little humans, us grand little humans.
Yes. And, the other thing that happens to a lot of people when they're in sort of less developed religious philosophies is they think all these kinds of things, it's the devil coming to get them or whatever. So then it becomes a kind of a totally fear-based, bad karma, whatever their kind of justification for it is. And I think too that I tell people who are afraid of the devil, I say, no mind, no devil. So if you think it's the devil, then go sit in meditation, shut your head off, and there will be no devil anymore.
Yeah.
But, that's the part that inspires me to grow, is say, okay, how can I get enough people to be aware of what's really going on? Because even though I'm doing very well and we're doing very well, some of the things coming down the pipe are certainly not good ideas with my knowledge and my levels of life experience and what I've seen work and not work. So I say, this is where we all got to circle the globe and hold hands. And we have to stand up for our sovereignty, and we have to stand up for legitimate medical science and legitimate testing of drugs and vaccines. And, we have to put some morality back into science and medicine, because it's completely lost its way, and that's deeply concerning to me.
Yes.
That's to me, that's the big challenge we all face and this is what happens when people don't take responsibility for the decisions they make, and they turn it over to organizations and churches and politicians and the state and the government. Then you just become your energy and your money just becomes a vehicle for people that have other plans, and oftentimes those plans are not ethical or moral.
And then we're stuck in a victim role because we're not taking responsibility for holding hands and standing up, like you said, standing up for ourselves together.
Well, we can be stuck in worse than a victim role. We can be stuck in a situation where another country thinks that all of us are doing what the government is doing to them, such as, wars in the Middle East and Vietnam and many other such things. But those of us that have our head on our shoulders are like, wait a minute, that's not me doing that. But because you're an American, you travel to other countries and people think you're one of the devils, so we're going to get you. My point is that by being passive about what our power as a collective is doing and not getting involved in it, then when it starts going south and being mischievous, others want to reciprocate, and so that's how bad things happen to people. My point is that, if a world war was to break out, we'd all be in it. But most people would be thinking they're the bad guys, but they would forget to go look at history and see how many pokes did we give the dragon. Well, all of us were too busy on our iPhones, and it was being done in the name of Uncle Sam. A good example is, who trained Osama bin Laden?
Was it the U.S.?
The United States did. The CIA did. Our taxpayers' dollars trained him, right?
Yeah.
So we trained a devil for our divisive purposes, and then when the devil turned himself back on us, it was like it was everybody else's fault.
Evil, bad.
He's
Look
the
at
bad
him.
guy. I'm like, okay, yeah, guess what, boys and girls? Well, you were watching your favorite TV show, eating junk food. That's what your tax dollars were doing, and you weren't paying attention. So I think part of this crisis is to show Americans they've got to get a lot more involved and do a lot more research, and not just believe the party line, and look carefully at what's happening to people that keep going the standard route.
Yeah.
And so I think that's called growing up. Who lets mommy and daddy control everything? Children, because they don't know any better. But when adults act like children,
gets pretty scary,
and they're not paying attention to who's got their hands on the steering wheel, then you can end up going off a cliff. And so I think it's a time for all of us to breathe, sing, dance, paint, get the energy to have a clear mind, be creative, but pay close attention to what's being done with your tax dollars and in the name of your safety and security.
Be discerning. I think that's the part of blind faith that I think that is so indoctrinated in us, in this country, all over the world. Actually, I traveled the world to see. My intention was to see if blind faith existed in other places, and it definitely does.
Wherever there's religion, there's blind faith, honey. I could have told you that one.
Well, it was cool going to India anyway, so I'm glad I did.
Hi, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you've been following my work for any length of time at all, you know how important organic food and organic farming is, not only for the health of the soil and to protect all the little beings in nature from toxic chemicals and throwing nature completely out of balance, which directly affects us, but also for our own health and well-being. We all need nutrient-dense foods for body, mind, well-being. And I'm so excited about the Organifi line. Organifi is a product line made of certified organic source materials, and I've checked this out personally. I can guarantee you that. One of my favorites that I've recently tried is their red juice, which has acai and cordyceps infused into it. It's a super, super tasty product, and it revitalizes skin cells, supports your metabolism, has antioxidants in it, age-fighting nutrients, helps mental clarity. It's got a lovely natural sweet flavor. And something that I found really interesting, if you go to Organifi.com and look up the red juice, they show you a price per serving comparison against Palm Wonderful, Red Bull, Gatorade, and a Starbucks latte. And Organifi red juice is actually significantly more cost effective considering not only the price, but the density of the nutrients in it. I think you'll be really amazed with this red juice, along with all their other products. If you go to Organifi.com, Organifi.com, and as you're checking out, use the code lowercase CHEK20 all together, you will get a 20% discount on your Organifi purchases. I'm super excited to share this company. I've tested their products, my family's tested their products, and we're all behind them. And I know you're going to be satisfied because this is the real deal. This is true nutrition. Check it out. As you check out, CHEK20 to get your discount. Thanks for joining me. Hope you to continue to enjoy the podcast. And if you love it, share it with as many people as you can.
You know, if we all continue to pull our power, our focus, and energy away from systems which are currently collapsing and also intending not at the benefit of the whole, but of the benefit of the few. If we
Yes.
pull our energy out and we say, this isn't the job that I want to be doing with my life, this isn't my passion, and we start listening to that song in our heart and we focus on creating more of what our highest expression is,
Yeah.
then we're sharing our gifts with our community and with the larger world. And, you know, for some of these plans and for these different agencies to take control, if you will, they need the people to lay down.
Yeah, they need passive people.
They need passive people, and they also need the people that are working with those systems to operate and function.
Yeah.
So 2020 in a big way was such a global awakening.
Yeah.
And I give thanks to all of those people who listen with their heart open, their eyes open, with their ears, and feel what's going on the global stage, where there's more and more shreds of awareness of maybe our country isn't what we thought it was. Maybe we're not as free as we thought we were.
Right.
Maybe living in cities isn't as sustainable as it is. Maybe
Right.
we're not guaranteed that we're going to have power next week or
Right.
water in a month or
Right.
food in 6
Grocery
months.
stores.
How do we, as a society and as a global collective, how do we start taking the power away from the hands
The
that we
dragons.
have given our power away? How do we create that which we choose? And that's been a practice that we've been exploring for the past year, and we're so grateful for that.
I tell people the fastest way to vote and have your vote be heard is
With
to
your dollar?
control your money.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put money into companies that are not supporting people and the planet.
Yep.
Even if that's your habit.
Yep.
You know what? It's better to go find a doctor that you can pay a little bit every month that'll take care of you than to pay in some insurance plan that rips you off and doesn't work. I mean,
Yeah.
a great example of a great ripoff is this whole everyone's got to have medical insurance that Bill Clinton passed. You know, having 2 kids now, that insurance is about useless. The co-pays are very high. Your choice of doctors is quite limited. And it's like, what were they thinking when they did this? I mean, this is not designed to help people.
No.
If you follow the money, there's a very few hands getting a very lot of money and rolling in this thing thinking it's just fantastic, but the rest of the people are left thinking they have medical coverage, and then when they really need it, they find that these co-pays are really high and that the doctors and places they're allowed to go are third class.
Yeah.
And it's such a joke. I mean, we've got the most expensive medical system in the world, and we rank 37th for overall medical care. I mean, where's our esprit de corps? We pride ourselves, we can put people on the moon, and we have, the best cell phones, and we've got all this technology, yet we can't even take care of our own people. I mean, which in a sort of a strange way is good, because it means you have to learn to take care of yourself.
Yes, and your community and each other.
Yeah. But if you keep pumping money into a dysfunctional system, it would be like going to a hairdresser who does a shitty job, but you keep going back and complaining the whole time and paying her. I'm like, well, shit. What do you expect? So it's something that we all have to do together. It doesn't matter how clear you or I are. If we can't inspire people.
It's true.
And the problem is that a lot of people get so hooked into their unconscious patterns, and they're so devitalized that any form of change is exhausting to them or scary for them. So it's like looking for a new insurance provider, or finding a better doctor, or paying attention to who owns the companies you're spending money with, like food, for example. I mean, if you're buying commercially raised food, you're just poisoning the planet with your money. You're destroying your own home.
Yeah, and then you're complaining about global warming.
Or your cancer,
Yeah.
So it's people can't be passive anymore, and they can't rely on television to educate them, unless it's a channel like Gaia, or you're listening, studying a well-made documentary where people are actually telling you the truth instead of snowballing you to pacify you. And, you just got to learn to follow the money. The money always, just follow the money.
Yeah.
Tell you right what's going on.
Who is getting rich while the rest of the world is getting, not the rest of the world, but the majority was getting poorer, who was, who was getting richer during these times. It's great. That's a great aha moment when it's like, oh, okay. Who are we giving our money to? And, these Amazon purchases versus us going into our local downtown Ashland, into the town, and we can buy a pot from a person, and maybe it's $10, $20 more because they had to, get the things that they're selling in the store from a legitimate source, and they're doing it in a legitimate way. But it feels so much better to do those purchases in person, with face to face, and it's helping their business thrive. We had a morning, we had a grieving yesterday. We're on a road trip right now, and we had a grieving in downtown LA, a sweet plant-based ice cream shop that we really love in town. It disappeared. It's gone. And we just had a real true grieving, just feeling our hearts and feeling the sadness for just the, and
the loss of something good.
Yes.
And the transitions of the times.
Yeah.
And Baskin Robbins is pumping it out, or, just whoever was doing it cheaper and faster and with more slave labor is winning. And
People
I'm putting that in air quotes right now, because there's no winning in that.
People have lost their sense of quality.
Yeah.
They really have.
Yeah.
Our culture has become trapped in the concept of quantity. More is better, but they've lost touch completely with quality. And it's a dangerous thing to do, because if you don't care about quality, you don't care where your product comes from, whether it be food or textiles or essential oils or cars or anything, right? Quality is really more important than quantity by a long shot. And, predatory marketing has just gotten so good that people think they're getting good stuff, but they don't realize till after the fact it's junk. Like a good example is vitamins or supplements in general. 98% of that shit's not even worth the bottle. The bottle costs more than the stuff in the things. And people don't realize if you do better just to pray over your water than pay for a $50 bottle of placebo medicine, because the placebo effect works whether you buy it at the store or not. You can throw some of your favorite sorghum in a gel cap and visualize it as your cancer medicine, and you're probably going to get better results than most of the stuff they're selling you as this supplement or that supplement or this drug for cancer. I mean, most of the drugs they test don't beat the placebo. And so I think the real issue is just we have to really look at what is the quality of education that we're giving our children? What is the quality of our food system? What is the quality of our medical system? What is our dollar delivering as quality, right? Because what is a depression? It means that the value of your money is decreased. So that means it doesn't have as much quality.
Sure.
Right?
That's something that we've been really reflecting on over this past year. I've been told that over the past year since the COVID outbreak, there's been approximately 40% more money printed in the United States alone. And so what that means is that's a huge amount of inflation.
Yeah.
If 40% more money enters the system, then that means the actual intrinsic value of the US dollar has gone down 40%.
Yeah.
And so how do we as a people stay resilient, knowing that the value of our dollar and the decline of our economic and governmental systems that we see on the external, what types of actions can we take?
Yeah.
You know, a thought concept around this particular thread is we've been looking at other ways of storing wealth and exchanging. So this can include developing a local barter system
Yes.
amongst your community.
Totally.
This can mean storing your wealth in various other types of assets. Historically, during shaky times, rare earth metals, including gold and silver, have retained their value.
Because they're tangible.
Yeah.
They're you actually have something that you can trade for your value.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right now, how many people actually think that because they've got $100,000 in the bank, they can go to the bank and there'll be $100,000 sitting in a safe deposit box or a vault?
Nope.
Well, that's just a bunch of zeros and ones floating around on a cloud somewhere. It's not even real money, right?
Yeah.
And land, right? Land, even in a crisis, even if the value drops, you just live on it until it goes up, right? But you made me think of something I really think people should hear about. Have you ever read or heard of the book Shock Doctrine by Naomi Klein?
I haven't.
It's a powerful, powerful book. James Phelps turned it on to our podcast manager and marketing manager. Naomi Klein's a very sharp woman. I read her book, This Changes Everything, which is all about the environmental crisis and global warming. But Shock Doctrine can be found. They basically took her book and made it into a documentary on Amazon, and it really clearly shows not only what's going on right now, but they've been using the same tricks over and over and over again. And they show how they've done this in Venezuela, Argentina, and how the United States government's been involved in all this, and how they use top-notch psychologists and economists to manipulate the environment, to crash it, to, so the rich people keep getting rich and the poor people get poorer, right? And it's just it's a real dangerous game that the higher-ups like to play. And I think if everybody watched the movie Shock Doctrine, or read or listen to the book by Naomi Klein, and then if you haven't seen Social Dilemma, that'll dial you in on how dangerous your phone is and how they're working right through your mind and brainwashing you and using all sorts of advanced technologies to toy with you.
That and The Creepy Line is
that's another one.
Great one.
That's a good one.
There's a technology that we've come into contact with. It's called Mic Lock, and it's a device that you plug into your headphone auxiliary port, and it tricks your phone into thinking that there's a headphone or a mic piece into it, and it goes into dead space. And so it's a great way to neutralize the noise through your different devices.
No one's listening in.
Yeah.
Right, so no one, because it basically kills the mic function.
Yeah.
I'd love it if you'd send me the link on how to get that.
I just ordered 100.
And we'll give you one.
That's Nick.
We're happy to get it out into the world. So Go ahead and finish your thought, brother.
Oh, I was going to say, you've got a whole bunch of sexy looking oils over there. I wanted to know what's up your sleeve, because whenever you come around, I know I'm in for some kind of exciting new experiences and smells and effects. And so before we get too late in the day here, let's hear about it.
Okay. Well, maybe let's invite everyone into a momentary meditation. So I'm opening up a bottle of a limited edition organic CO2 extracted Blue Lotus.
Yes.
And this is Nymphaea Corellia. And the aroma, it smells like caramel apple pie. I've never smelled a specific batch of Blue Lotus like this. And what I love doing is I love putting a little bit on my third eye.
I just did, yeah.
Rubbing it into my wrist points. Taking deep inhalations.
That's nice stuff, man.
Sometimes I enjoy putting some of the Blue Lotus into my tea or vaporizing it.
Oh, yeah?
I was going to ask if you've ever done that before.
I have, actually. You've given me some before, and I haven't put it in tea, but I've vaporized it. It's really nice. You know what's really wild about this? I hope Angie doesn't mind me saying this. The smell of that is exactly like Angie's natural body smell. It's exactly what she smells like.
Wow.
And that gets me high.
That's warm pheromones of love.
Yes, exactly.
Give thanks.
So, Angie, if you listen to this, you are the Blue Lotus, baby.
That's love. Yeah. Well, I could share some of these amazing oils that were actually inspired by a mutual friend that you introduced me to.
But before you do, give us a couple of tips on if someone wants to order the Blue Lotus, what is it really good for, so that people know that we're having more than just a good time here without them getting to smell it.
Yeah. So Blue Lotus, historically speaking, the lotus was both a symbol and a plant medicine to connect to the divine. So these ancient hieroglyphics on walls where women would be walking around with flowers around their nose, it was glorifying this very plant. And the Blue Lotus, it contains constituents that are mildly euphoric, uplifting to the mood, somewhat psychedelic in nature.
I really feel very nice. I feel high without being high, if there's such a thing.
It's like a deep level of clarity.
Yeah.
And what I've found specifically about the Thai, the CO2 extract, it's even cleaner than the absolutes that we offer from Sri Lanka. And there's another level of euphoria and clarity when vaporized. And so the experience I get, and after the show's done, we can bust out my vaporizer before we go. And there's a level of euphoria, clarity, giddiness. It feels somewhat like mildly opiating, mild cannabinoid qualities, mild GABAergic qualities. And so it's this relaxing, hyper-focus, creativity, inner joy that comes through. And it comes in so clear when vaporized. It's also nice to combine, I guess historically it's been combined with fermented wines and beverages, and also can be added into teas as well.
It would be very good in a medicine ceremony.
Yes.
To add that to some mushrooms or even ayahuasca or almost anything. I can see how it actually have quite a stabilizing effect for people.
Your intuition is spot on, brother.
Yeah.
I've been told there's quite a unique synergistic quality with DMT specifically, and also mushrooms as well.
Next podcast.
So that's Blue Lotus in a wrap.
And so you've got that available now?
Yes.
I would love to get some of that for sure, because that's cool stuff.
Yeah.
And how much is a bottle of that for the listeners?
It ranges between 65 and 111, and then there's different sizes of the Absolute as well.
So you said 65 to 111. Does that mean just depending on the price you have to pay for the product?
The size.
We have a few different sources of origin for the Blue Lotus.
So you can choose, or
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So we just did the CO2 Blue Lotus from Thailand, and the other one is from Sri Lanka, and it's an Absolute. So the extraction is different.
Yes. Yeah. So anything else I want to say about that?
Maybe I want to share the my personal perfume preference as a woman is the Sri Lanka Absolute Blue Lotus. I put that all over myself all day long. I feel like it's maybe a touch more feminine in my experience, and this one is a little bit more masculine.
Yeah, it's got I can see where there's a masculine quality to this. It's gentle though.
Yeah. It's
not
almost
pushy
like
at
it's
all.
more earthy.
Yes.
There's like a touch more earth in it, where the Sri Lankan is very
floral,
flighty and floral, very giddy. Yeah. The Blue Lotus tincture as well is probably the easiest way to work with the Blue Lotus. We mix it up into an organic alcohol and just a single drop.
Now, I have an intuitive sense that would be very good for Mana, especially when he's maybe in a little bit of a funk or something. Is it safe for a 5-year-old?
I would suggest externally it is. Yeah. I think putting it on and letting them smell it, or I also like dropping it onto my crown.
Yeah.
So we can all do that right now. I'll pass around the bottle. So I just tap it. And what's nice is it passes through the auric field and just lands on the crown. And it's a way of opening up.
Hi, everybody. I know that you're all aware of the importance of vitamin C. There is a mountain of research on it, but not all C is created equally. I love Paleo Valley's Essential C Complex because it is the real deal, bioavailable, and I wanted you to hear right from Autumn Smith, founder of Paleo Valley, why their Essential C Complex is so unique and something you definitely want for your family and your children. Autumn, tell us about your Essential C Complex.
Well, I was shocked to learn as a holistic nutritionist that over 90% of the vitamin C on the market is derived from genetically modified corn, and then it's processed with highly volatile acids. And so I knew I had to find a better way to get all of the powerful benefits of vitamin C. So what I did was I dove into the research and I found the 3 most vitamin C rich superfoods on the planet. That's unripe acerola cherry and camu camu and amla berry. And then I just packed them into capsules. And the benefits are amazing because you're not only getting vitamin C, but all of the other wonderful benefits that come from these amazing superfoods. So to get access to this complex, all you have to do is go to paleovalley.com and you can use the code CHEK15 at checkout. That's lowercase CHEK 15, and you can save 15% off.
I was feeling called to share one of the tinctures, and I was wanting to take it before we started, but I was thinking I would wait until this moment.
You're so fun. This is the moment, babe.
So this is one of our later extractions. One of our latest one is the passion flower.
Ooh.
And I don't know if you know much about this. I only knew how beautiful and exotic these flowers look. Have you seen them before?
I think I have at some point, but I don't remember what they look
These
like.
crazy purple flowers with the pistons that just pop up.
The pistils coming up out of them, like long ones.
Yeah, long. Yeah,
I think we might have some on the property somewhere.
They're stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
So this tincture is really great for these times, I find. A lot of people have been coming to us asking about stress and anxiety and, all these new emotions for people going through this time of great change. And the passion flower is really, it just has this really nice, takes the edge off kind of feeling.
Good.
Just brings you deeper into your body, and for me, into my heart, because that's kind of what, if I'm feeling stress or anxiety, it's just, a forgetting of being in my heart.
Have you got one I can buy off you? Because Angie's coming home from teaching tonight. She'll be tired.
Perfect.
What you're describing is perfect for
I'm
that.
sure we could gift you one.
Yeah,
Well,
that's yours.
I'm happy to pay for it. You guys gift me so much. I told Nick when he got here, I said, "Hey man, I got like a whole box of oils from the last 2 years, and the ones I know what to do with, I do, but I get so busy and." He sends me an email, then I can't find the damn thing. So I'm like, I got to have a
Analog
coaching session
notes.
with
We'll take
Nick
notes.
so I can use his gift, because I'm probably sitting on enough oils to make somebody rich if they traded them in.
Yeah, so this is the passion flower. This is an ultrasonic extraction of these flowers. And for our listeners, the ultrasonic extraction is a whole new level of extraction that we've found really heightens the potency of these plants. They seem to be more bioavailable, like your body can absorb them more readily, and just a full potency. And it's using water and vibration as an extraction, which is really cool to me.
Nick sent me a video showing how he does it. It was very cool.
Yeah.
It was really neat. It's very, techie.
It's technical.
Yeah. And so the passion flower, about a quarter dropper to a half dropper full is my experience of what I choose to use. And this under the tongue, letting it sit for about 30 to 60 seconds is how I like to allow it to absorb. Just letting the bioavailability under the tongue is this really receptive place of the body, can get it into the bloodstream pretty quick. So I'm going to take some right now.
Passion flower.
So
you've got the flower.
Yeah. So I really relate with Ellen's experience. For me, if I were to sum it up, this really takes the edge off. It removes the negative aspect of stress so that I can more spaciously be in the present moment and activate in the ways that are most supportive for me at the time.
One of the tinctures you gave me that I find very helpful for that is positive transformation.
Positive transmission.
Yeah. I love giving that to people that are stressed out or stuck in the negative or whatever, but I vaporize that with my tobacco and herbs and just think it's the cat's ass, man. So about that much.
Yep. Perfect. Under the tongue.
Yeah, positive transmissions, a combination of CO2 extracted African copal bark, cedar, elemi, frankincense, myrrh, tulsi, and white sage. And it's so clarifying, uplifting. One of my remembrance moments of the power of positive transmission was during an ayahuasca ceremony when I was in Costa Rica. And I took a few drops of the oil and I literally rubbed it in my hands and rubbed it around my field. And it just shifted everything. It just attracted more light, more positive inner awareness. And ever since that experience, it's been a formula that's really resonated with me deeply and is powerful at the right times.
Now, CO2 extraction, isn't one of the reasons for CO2 extraction is to avoid having to heat the oils to extract them?
That's one of the reasons. CO2, carbon dioxide, is it's a very clean extraction method. And so some of the absolutes, for instance, typically use nonpolar solvents. Many of them are not preferred for internal consumption. And while you're dealing with micro amounts of potential residual solvent, the CO2 extracts, on the other hand, when during the extraction method, you're shifting the temperature and the pressure. So you're turning this gaseous carbon dioxide into a liquid, running the liquid through the plant material, and that pressure, it helps to remove the different aromatic materials, the lipids, and the different constituents found inside the plant. And what happens is in the collecting tank, the whole solution, when the pressure and the temperature return to a normalized state of the room environment, the CO2, what does it do? It shifts from a liquid to a gas. And so now you're left with a really concentrated extract that has no residual solvent left over in it.
Right. And what is an absolute? You've used that term a few times. I know it refers to some class or type of oil, but what does it mean for the listeners?
Yep. So an absolute is a solvent extracted extract, and typically it's now there's some absolutes that use ethanol, and that's a very clean extraction method, and there's others that use more abrasive nonpolar solvents. And so an absolute, when you're using these nonpolar solvents, they are typically very full spectrum, beautiful, aromatic. Many of the rare and exotic floral extracts, the most common extraction method is an absolute extract. And so again, these use different types of solvents. And so for utilizing something in your food, there can still be micro amounts of residual solvent, even though there's a few steps between the actual extraction using solvent, because you evaporate the solvent out and then you wash it again with alcohol, and then you evaporate out the alcohol. And so, my personal way of being and expressing with the absolutes is there's so much concentrated essence and such a residual amount of solvent that I will on occasion utilize absolutes, like a rose absolute, which is so thick and rich and has such a full flavor profile. I would use personally a rose absolute on some chocolate that I'm making, and it will produce such a full spectrum. It's just biting into a rose with such a small quantity. And because the essence of the rose, it's so rich, and the concentration of that far outweighs the minute amount of toxins, that the residual solvent that would be left over. And also, if I'm using something medicinally or internally, then my preference and my suggestions are using the right dose of something like a steam distilled organic essential oil and or a CO2 extract, or anything that would not be utilizing solvents.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Great explanation. You could make a living as a teacher if you give up on your oil business.
Thank you.
Actually,
I'll just weave them together.
Let's do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I always enjoy your explanations. So
Thank you.
I figured if I didn't know, people in the audience wouldn't know. And, when in my studies of how the mind works and how we learn, one of the things that became clear is that whenever we're reading or we're having a conversation or we're listening to someone, if they use a word we don't understand, our brain actually stops right there.
I've heard that.
And so
You can't go any
an
further.
hour later, your brain's still going, what's an absolute?
What does
What's
that
an
mean?
absolute?
Yeah.
And if it's actually pivotal to understanding the rest of the information, I mean, imagine reading a book about math and you didn't know what a square root was, know. So you might read the book, but you're going to fail the test.
Yeah, it's a good reminder because he has a wealth of knowledge, and it's sometimes important to explain some bits of it.
And, I guess one of the opportunities during this conversation is also tuning into what I've already shared in previous conversations without repeating it too much, and also balancing that because there's going to be new listeners on this podcast that haven't heard that. So I appreciate you reflecting on what we've explored.
Let's choose one or two more, just because I have to keep us from getting too late here, because I got to go tend to the kiddies. But choose a couple that you think are most needed by the listeners in our environment that we've been discussing.
Yeah. So one of them that we feel really fortunate to have and to be working with is Melissa. So Melissa also goes by the herbal name lemon balm.
Oh, I know. I've used lots of lemon balm. I love it.
What do you enjoy most about lemon balm?
Well, it makes a great smoke. I love vaporizing it.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed lemon balm tea for many years.
Did you know it's highly antiviral and it's really powerful?
I think I at one point might have read it somewhere, but I'm not like Nick with all that specific knowledge on herbs. My method is I smell it, and if my body likes it, then I taste it, and if my body likes it, I consume it. That's my master plan.
So the Melissa, we feel very fortunate because we got connected with a ranch that was doing some beautiful organic farming out around the Mount Shasta area. And they produced literally liters and liters of this beautiful Melissa, and hundreds of gallons of other medicinal herbs such as lavender and thyme and peppermint and
oregano
and the most amazing oregano. In fact, one of my favorite species, Oreganum vulgare, subspecies hirtum, and the vitality on this ranch is just, there were no expenses barred. It was a very well done operation, and the ranch had closed down, and so we've become a steward of a good supply of these oils. And
was it COVID that closed them down?
Nope. It was quite a while. They've been closed for a few years, and it's a transition of that land space. And
can I say something fun about that land?
Sure.
So apparently Steven Seagal really loves natural medicine and herbs and all these things. And he lived in Montague, California, near Shasta. And it was his investment to grow all these organic herbs and pay all these people and like treat it in a really, really good and sacred way. So it was actually coming from his farm. He's decided to jump ship and move to Moscow or Russia, or, somewhere very far away. And so it's kind of fun to share that.
Wow, that's
These
cool.
are actually coming from his investments. And
well, that's great. I know, I think he's an acupuncturist as well. I know he's got a fair bit of natural healing knowledge. Yeah.
It's such an honor to be a good steward for these oils. And, Melissa also inspired us to make an ultrasonic tincture of that. And so the oil we oftentimes will use, will diffuse in the environment, and it's just so vitalizing and refreshing. And something that I noticed about Melissa that's really palpable for these times are not only the antiviral qualities, but really the uplifting, supportive qualities for the mood, and also it's quite supportive for shock. And so there's a lot of shock to the nervous system and to the emotional system in the collective right now.
Yes, yeah.
And what I've found also, we did an ultrasonic extract of the Melissa, and man, it's really great for calming the nervous system while also remaining really focused and clear, and a boost to the mood. And so lemon balm and Melissa have been quite an amazing ally for us.
What's interesting is once I took the Melissa and brought it into me, it gave the feminine component to the blue lotus that was missing. You know how we were talking how it's a bit masculine, but it brought the feminine to me. Do you feel that?
Oh,
at all?
wow.
Yeah.
Many of you are aware of the importance of magnesium, but very few are aware that most of the magnesium products out there are not high quality and seldom do what they say they'll do on the bottle or the package. But Bioptimizers has produced the most comprehensive magnesium breakthrough product on the market. I've got Wade here to tell us a little bit about it. Wade, what makes your magnesium breakthrough product so unique?
Well, I think because we combine a variety of magnesiums. In fact, we use 7 different types. So if you look at all the research papers out there, you'll see that they'll use various magnesiums, whether it's orotate, malate, sucrosomial is a hot one that's just come out recently, and they're rated on bioavailability. But the biggest component that a lot of people don't understand with magnesium is that different types of magnesium are uptaken by different parts of the body or different organs, some in your brain, some in your nervous system, some are vasodilators. And so there's a variance in people's responses depending on what they need magnesium for. So we went out to try and solve this problem by combining all 7 of the best magnesiums into one single capsule, which was very difficult because number one, the bonding size was different. The nozzles for the machines wouldn't work. We don't use any fillers or chemical excipients, that's the flow regulators. And then we got them in the caps, and the caps rose. We had to do specialized caps. But when we solved all those problems and turned it out for ourselves, because we were tired of buying, I had a whole counter full of magnesiums. Well, guess what? A lot of people said this was the best magnesium product they've ever taken. And after being in this business for 18 years, it's quickly moved to our number 1 selling product in Bioptimizer history.
What are just 2 or 3 things that magnesium is really supportive of? I know sleep challenges is one of them. What are some of the other key issues?
Well, it acts as a down regulator for your nervous system to kind of help you relax and go into, out of fight or flight. And that's the biggest factor, especially today in a high blue light electromagnetic frequency world that we find ourselves in, a high stimulus environment. It's also critical for vasodilation. And vasodilation increases blood flow. And many times when we are suffering from a variety of pain or conditions in the body, it's because we're not getting oxygen in or toxins out of those tissues. And you've written a lot about it in your work. And so Magnesium Breakthrough, because it's so powerful and not available in most North American diets because of what we've done with farming, it's a great way to augment your diet. And it's easy to get. You go to magnesiumbreakthrough.com or magbreakthrough.com/living4D. You can get a 10% discount, and it's a money back guarantee. If it's not the best magnesium you've ever taken, you get your money back.
MAG breakthrough.com, magbreakthrough.com/living4D. And is there a discount for the listeners?
10%
all
for
right.
all the listeners.
All right, give it a go, you guys. Everything I use from Bioptimizers is the best I've ever used. That's why I love Wade and Bioptimizers. So you've heard how it's made, why it's made, and how it works. If you want the best, go get it.
How about one more and we'll wrap it up?
Yeah. Would you love to choose your favorite of these times, babe?
Sure. Yeah, I'm trying to see. It's hard to choose one, isn't it? I was kind of gravitating towards this.
Great choice, babe.
But then there's always this.
Yeah, bring them both.
Can we do
Same
2
family.
Paul?
Same family.
As long as we keep it efficient. I've got to be ready to rub feet when they come home.
Perfect. You can rub feet with. We'll give you some oils for feet rubbing.
Oh, great.
So yeah, ginkgo, our ginkgo tincture, ginkgo biloba has been something that people are really happy with right now.
Absolutely.
And maybe I'm really excited about the lion's mane in general, and so is our audience.
Yeah. March is actually our Alchemy Tribe gift this month to our members is our ultrasonic lion's mane tincture.
So we do a monthly subscription where people receive oils to their doorstep every month.
That's a great idea.
It's amazing. And we've had a huge amount of subscribers in this last year. We're so grateful for. And there's different tiers. So you can get a $20 tier and then up from there, depending on what oil or tinctures or perfumes that you'll get each month. And so, lion's mane is in the March package. So that'll be coming out this month.
Yeah, it's really fun to alchemize for our Alchemy Tribe and to feel the consistent support from our audience and to be able to really work with the times. It's fascinating because the year of gifts comes through in December of the previous year, and then during that time, most of what I'm going to be offering the final year comes through really clearly. And sometimes it's a blank spot, and it says, "I don't know. I'll know when the time comes." And so I'm really amazed and honored at all the feedback that I receive about it's the right oil at the right time. How did you know? And
you're
I
Nick.
just I asked Spirit.
The pharmacist turned shaman. Thank God.
Literally,
the left brain turned right brain.
It's great to balance them, isn't it, brother?
Oh yes, absolutely. Otherwise, you're blind, right?
Yeah. Speaking of the brain.
Yeah.
Lion's mane for the brain, baby.
Yeah. So both ginkgo biloba and lion's mane, I find, so ginkgo biloba, my first experience with the raw plant was from a tree, this ancient tree that I believe it was in Kyoto, Japan, that I harvested leaves from. And I would chew on the leaves, like 1 to 3 leaves, and I would feel more alert, more clarity of the mind, just by sucking on them in the cheeks and biting and gnawing on them. Now, fast forward now a decade later, this ultrasonic extract of the ginkgo, there's a slight relaxation in my physical body, and I feel like cerebral blood flow enhance around the sides of my skull, and there's a calm clarity associated with it, and ginkgo is probably one of my favorites that we extracted within the past year. It just clarifies things. It feels really good. People who have blood clotting issues and or are taking a number of pharmaceutical drugs may be mindful about combining this because it can engage with some of the blood clotting medications. So that's something that I want to share. And it's also, I find that it's really synergistic with the lion's mane mushroom and our ultrasonic lion's mane mushroom. I guess I would speak to lion's mane mushroom being so more renowned with Paul Stamets and all of his literature and research that with regular use, it can help with neurogenesis. And so I've been enjoying combining both the ginkgo and the lion's mane, and with a regular meditation practice, being calm, cool, and collected, having that cognitive enhancement to really help take action and cultivate what's necessary for these times. So I'm going to stop talking and enjoy some of this ginkgo.
Please do.
Yeah.
I already got a taste of it.
We snuck it while you were talking.
It's slowly working its way under my tongue into my system here, and it's nice.
Yeah, for me, I feel like almost instantly my head feels like it opens in a way. There's just this kind of like more space is available. And I've heard ginkgo also being used for symptoms of like dementia, kind of symptoms of losing memory and starting to I think it's a neurogenesis that is taking place. So
what was your name again?
It's working? Question mark?
Can I try the lion's mane?
Yes. Yeah, you can start that one.
Oh, that's all right.
It's all right. And so the same thing with these ones. It's kind of a similar dosage that I like to use, like about a half dropper full, kind of same thing under the tongue, letting them sit. And you can kind of play with that on your own as far as, if you want less or more.
In the past podcast, we've had a discount offering. Have you thought of that? Is there anything for the listeners?
Yeah. We'll attach a coupon code for our audience for 10%.
Okay, great. I'll have Penny get the details, and we'll give you the code so that when you go to Dr. Nick's website, you can use the code. So there you go. You get a 10% discount. And I use Dr. Nick's oils all the time, everybody. They're just freaking awesome. I tell you what, I love turning people on to them because it just usually blows their mind. I remember when you came to my level 4 class at the Heaven House, those guys were talking about that from then to the end of the class. These guys bought all sorts of oils and they were all coming in. It's like I had the whole house smelled like everything mixed together. It's like, wow. But they were digging it. And I've never had anyone ever, period, that I've turned on to your oils that did not say thank you for that.
That's really special to hear.
Oh, it's true. I mean, shit, you look how many I've got. I got a whole arsenal of them.
Well, there's something true about what you said, the quality over quantity.
Totally.
And what Nick has started and that I'm joining in on is sourcing from the highest quality places and production facilities and creating things with the highest intention and heart and intentions. And we are energetically tuning things with tuning bowls to bring up frequency. And we have charging plates and we work with the biogeometry and other devices that are actually enhancing and bringing coherency. And those things are felt when you hold these products, when you take these products, there's a difference. There's a buzz to it. And it's similar to what you're doing, the work you're doing. People are starting to buzz to it just because your heart is in it, just because your quality is there and your intention. And so it works, guys.
Yes, it does work.
It works.
It's real medicine.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying that, Ellen. I want to gift that to you, brother.
What's that?
Well, tune into its energy. Just
it looks like a play button.
What could it be?
I get an image of a standing wave in my third eye.
Fascinating. I love that.
Like an infinity symbol connected to an infinity symbol connected to an infinity symbol, like very much like that.
Wow. He flips it over and the symbol is there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is that's a new piece of technology that we've been incorporating to enhancing the oils with. It's called the Omni Card, and we're starting to offer them through our website. And it's marketed as support for EMF, and I find that this device is very powerful. One of the most powerful that I've found in terms of its low price point compared to some of the other devices that are on the market. I think biogeometry, if you take the time to effectively apply it around the area, biogeometry is very powerful. I use these less for EMF because we already have so many amazing EMF technologies. And what I've really integrated from the use of this card is its potency for energetically enhancing the oils. And so what I'll do, so let's take this example. This one is Empower, and this was gifted. This was
set on the card?
Yeah, and
right
so
there?
On the other side of the card.
Okay.
So this card is double-sided, and it's said to structure the water.
Oh, great.
And they do have some research on the effects of this card, and maybe we're going to be linking to that in the website after we return. So this device I find to be really powerful for amplifying the oils before and after. And there's a feminine receptive side and a masculine stimulating side. And the way that it enhances the oils aromatically is really stunning. And so this is an example of one of the ways that we continue to incorporate different types of energetic technologies, and we're always learning and growing. We're never done with our final expression of our art. And so what happens is within about 5 to 20 minutes, that's how long I like to let the oils sit on these cards, is they will really give a robust boost and for a specific spectrum of the oils. And what's very interesting about this device is there's some intuition and knowing that goes into it. And so more stimulating oils tend to go better with the masculine side that looks like an arrow.
Okay,
and
that's what the difference. This is the feminine side.
Exactly. And so I think it's interesting that it's developed to structure water, and it's being sold as something to help protect against the negative effects of EMF. And it's also an amazing oil structure.
What's it called?
The Omni card.
Omni card. And where do people get it?
Get them on our website.
Yeah.
Your website?
Uh-huh.
How much are they?
I think they're somewhere around 100.
I think a 111.
That's not bad though.
Yeah. And I keep one in my purse all the time and just keep it on me. It's, covering a field of, I think the information's on the website, but I think it's about 9 feet around you. So there is that protection. And also a lot of our community asks about traveling. When you travel with oils and going through radiation, going through the airport, this feels like a really great solution of bringing them back to the vibration that we intended for them to be. After going through the radiation, there could be some shift in vibration.
You know how I protect against that? I put them in a lead-lined film carrying case.
That'll work too.
They'll always get inspected. So if you do that, because they kept opening my oils and not closing the tabs, then I'd get back to my destination and my whole suitcase was soaked in essential oils and clothes ruined and hundreds of dollars gone.
Yeah.
So I found I take a blood pressure cuff kit and I fill it with the oils I want to carry with me, and then I stuff it into a lead-lined film case, which you can buy at any camera store, and then I have a big note that I wrote in block letters: expensive medicinal oils, if opened, please close tightly. And since then, I've never had a problem.
Awesome.
And
good tip.
Because they have to see what's in it. You see, if something goes through the airport and they can't see what's in it, they're going to open it.
Yeah.
And the other tip is leave it right on top of your luggage, because I used to put it down to protect it and, wrap it and close and stuff, but they would tear the suitcase apart looking for it. And so now I put it right up top where they can see it. And what I do is I put my feather pillow, in the pocket of the lid of the suitcase, so it closes down on the essential oils and it stabilizes it, just like you would carry a camera in a professionally designed case or something.
Beautiful.
And I don't ever have any problems with it. But the lead line case protects the oils because I could see a radical difference.
Yeah.
By the time you get through a couple of airports, if you're sensitive enough like I am or you would be, you notice that the power's dropping down.
Yeah.
But once I put them in the film case, they were good to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's the best way. Not always the easiest way to travel, which is why we've started incorporating the biogeometry clearing trays and also utilizing this type of card when we're traveling through the airways.
Well, been a great visit, you guys.
Yeah.
So you're on the road. You got your beautiful new motor home.
We do.
And where are you heading next?
Yeah. Well, we're going to hang out here locally for the next few days and make our way out to the desert out in beautiful Arizona.
Right on.
Yeah.
And it will be Ellen's first time really enjoying that neighborhood. And
yeah, I'm excited.
Well, interestingly enough, my friend Roseanne Grace and Jeff Bryan, they're looking for a house in that area. So if you remind me, I'll connect you guys by text, and you might be able to hang out with Jeff and Roseanne out there, because
that would be special.
They're out there looking for a new house right now.
Great.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and she might be able to take either of you on a regression.
Yes, please.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love how this conversation's
Shaping
so much
up.
Synchronicity in our lives together, Paul, because
Absolutely.
we were just talking about those
Mm-hmm.
amazing past life regression sessions earlier today.
Yeah, and she's the girl that does it. And I think that would be fun for you guys, and they're amazing people.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, lots of love to you guys, and thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming and visiting us and
Thanks,
spending the
Paul.
day and painting and walking the property and
Thanks for
playing
having
with
us
the
at
kids.
Rainbow.
And got to see my babies and my
Aw.
little love affair with my kids.
Yes, it's so special.
Yeah.
So
It's
great.
very inspiring.
Yeah, everyone looks so light and happy and shiny and bright here at the new, is it the Rainbow Home?
Yeah,
Rainbow House?
yeah. Well, great, you guys. And thank you to all you listeners. Enjoy your 10% discount. That's essentialoilwizardry.com. And thank you, Dr. Nick and Ellen. And really grateful that you guys do what you love to do, because it sure the hell has enhanced not only my life, my whole family's life. And enjoy your road trip.
Thank you.
And
Yeah, we
thank
will.
you for all the love you put into the collective each day.
Mm.
And look forward to visiting again. And next time we'll take a little more time and go through some more oils, because every time I run into Nick, I know over the years he's always got new stuff, and I'm always excited about it. So thank you guys. Thank you to the sponsors for all your love and support. Thank all of you for anything you buy from the sponsors, because you're putting your money into sustainable practices and supporting companies that really do have high quality and high morals and high values, that really do care about you and the world. And each purchase puts a little money in my pocket to keep the podcast going and pay the team. So I love you all. Enjoy anything you get from Dr. Nick. It'll be amazing. Always feel free to share your feedback. And we have lots of amazing podcasts on the way. So hang in there. Let's keep it going, and let's share the love with the world and make this place awesome.
Aho. Love you, Paul.
Thank you, Great Spirit.
Thank you, Great Spirit.
And don't let the stress of the environment scare you. Just get still and hold hands, and let's figure it out together.
Yes.
Love you, Paul.
Love you too.
Thanks,
Thank
brother.
you. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
So much fun.
Thank you for listening to Living 4D with Paul Chek and today's guests, Dr. Nick Berry and Ellen Bird. Connect with Dr. Nick on Instagram and Facebook at Essential Oil Wizardry, or on Pinterest at Essential Oil Wiz. Listeners can get 10% off all Dr. Nick's single oils and blends by going to essentialoilwizardry.com/Paul Chek and using the promo code LIVING4D. That's LIVING, the number 4D, all lowercase. Follow Paul Chek on Instagram at paul.chek, on Twitter at Paul Chek, or on his YouTube podcast channel, youtube.com/Living4D with Paul Chek. Watch more on Paul's blog at paulcheksblog.com and get your free subscription to Chek videos and more at the Chek Institute's new media site, chekiva.com. Remember, you can read the show notes and find links to the resources mentioned in this episode at chekinstitute.com/podcast/podcast/podcast/podcast/podcast.